Russ, people loving the True First list.
Oh, absolutely. I think they really are. And I think one of the best things about these True Firsts is that it gets you to delve farther into the fandom of this. And one of my favorite things about the fandom is being able to impart wisdom and knowledge to people. And it's really cool because you find this is the first appearance of this, and I get to tell you, and you get to tell someone else, and someone else. It's very, very cool because all of us get to know more and can revel in being fans of this. It's great.
Thank you to Topher over at comicbookinvest.com for putting together this True First article every week, especially because we like to cover this article because it's filled with such value. I like looking at this list, being surprised by these first appearances, especially because he relates them to stuff happening in the market.
Right.
So, without further ado, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on this video that gets pumped out every week. And let's start with this very interesting character called Black Hops.
Black Hops. Now, we have seen rabbits before. We've seen Asagi Ajimbo, we've seen Captain Carrot, we've seen Bucky O'Hare. I mean, we have had rabbit comic book characters, but this is the first time we've seen a half man, half rabbit, secret agent Black Ops person. I mean, I'm waiting for them to do a Navy SEAL crossover and there's a seal and a rabbit in the same panel. I mean, come on.
Oh, you're sounding like we're going to have to get that Alf comic book out pretty soon. You're talking about needing a seal. Al knows where those seals are, but this book in particular, Black Hops and New Antarctic Press, a hot book that's out now, first appeared in My Hero Macadamia.
And this is kind of cool. And for those of you that don't know, My Hero Macadamia is, again, a political type parody comic. But, you know, the title is based off of My Hero Academia, which is an anime that I'm watching right now with my son. It's also a manga. It's very, very cool. I'm enjoying it.
Shout out, Phil. And there's also a variant issue of this, so keep an eye out for that as well. You know, you never know. Black Hops may be on the rise. And moving on to my favorite on the list so far. This may be one of my favorites on the list. Like, I was so surprised when I saw this. But we have Garfield. That's right. I said it. Garfield. Making this list because there's a new Garfield movie coming out. But what was the first appearance of Garfield? The first appearance of Garfield actually premiered in Garfield at Large, which is a small book. But the first appearance of Garfield in comics premiered in Legion of Superheroes, issue number 300. Have you seen this appearance, Russ?
I have seen this appearance.
This is ridiculous.
And yes.
I love it.
The big, you know, everyone is standing on the wall and you get this little tiny Garfield there. And I'm shocked that it wasn't first appearance in a Jim Davis book. And I'm a massive Garfield fan. And growing up, I had Garfield at Large. I think I had the first 15 of the Garfield comic strip books. And I always had this natural affinity for Garfield because my birthday is January 31st. Garfield's birthday is January 30th. So we are both Aquarius. Lasagna was my favorite food for quite some time. I am a redhead. Garfield is a redhead. So growing up, I felt very tight with Garfield. So it's great to see this appearance here.
You're making Russ happy, Topher.
I know. I love Garfield.
Ooh, and you know, there's a Canadian variant as well as Mark Jeweler variants that exist.
There's a lot of Mark Jewelers out there, and it's nice to see how many more of them are coming out in the wild.
Now we're going to move on to some Star Wars goodness here. Another Walmart exclusive. Russ loves the Walmart exclusives.
Goose.
He's the sensei, you know? Channel your comic book vibes and tell them about the Star Wars Rogue One key appearance.
Star Wars Rogue One. It's the first appearance of Cassian Andor. And Cassian Andor is one of the Rogue One characters that sacrificed his life to be able to get the plans to Leia, to be able to find where the weakness on the Death Star is. Okay, that's fine. It's interesting that Cassian Andor's first appearance isn't necessarily the same book as Jyn Erso's first appearance or Chirrut and Baze's first appearance, but it's okay. Cassian Andor. Apparently, there was a Walmart Rogue One poster pack that his first appearance was in.
That's right. And you know if these copies are going to be filled with creases. You know, they're in this like a wrapped plastic wrap, you know, but it is the first appearance of that character. I don't mind seeing these Walmart appearances on here. I think it's kind of fun.
If it's in a movie pack, if it's a DVD add-in, that's fine. Again, my biggest beef is the Walmart ones that are only buy it at Walmart. You can only get this comic at Walmart.
Sure. Next one on this list is another Star Wars fan favorite, Emperor Palpatine.
So Emperor Palpatine, it's rumored that he may show up in the next Star Wars episode.
I'm hoping so, man.
It might be good. He's been in a lot of them. I think he's been in most of the movies for now. I'm trying to remember because he was Senator Palpatine for a while and he was in the original trilogy. I mean, but his first appearance was in an Empire Strikes Back's illustrated paperback, but his first comic book appearance was in Empire Weekly 121.
This is technically a magazine.
It's a magazine-sized thing, and his first U.S. comic appearance is in number 42, which also happens to be first appearance of Boba Fett, first appearance of Boss, first appearance of IG-88, first appearance of Dengar. Like, all of the bounty hunters are showing up in there, and it's also the first full appearance of Yoda. Now, as a young lad, I remember watching Return of the Jedi in the theater. I actually remember going to Jaws accidentally because my grandmother didn't read which theater we had to go to, so I was very traumatized at the age of 4 and had to watch Sharks for 5 minutes before my grandmother realized she had taken us into the wrong theater, and then I had to go watch the Ewoks. Thank God, Ewoks. But I remember going home, and my mom took me to Woolworths or Jafco or some store that doesn't exist anymore, and we got as many of the Kenner Return of the Jedi figures as possible, and I saved every single one of those proof of purchases, and I think I sent in 12 proof of purchases for the mail-away Emperor Palpatine character. And 6 months later, I got an apology with a bunch of pewter figures and an explanation that it would be at least 3 more months before I would get my Palpatine. So I spent a very long time for my fan favorite Emperor Palpatine mail-away action
Did you ever
figure.
get it?
I did.
What was that like?
It was awesome, and I think by the time I was 11, I had blown it up with an M80.
Not bad. The only mailer I ever got was a Power Rangers Green Ranger flute. It's pretty cool, though.
That's kind of cool, though.
It was really cool.
I can't imagine there's many of those in existence anymore.
That's right. Now, another one that I don't think that there's many that still exist is this free previews catalog that came out in 2015 by Vertigo, which premieres the Survivors Club, which is slated to get its own show.
That's pretty cool. And these Vertigo, these free previews, they were little leaflets. And I know that Diamond sent them out. I remember this vividly. I had a stack of them in the bathroom at the shop so people could just flip through and read them. And they were like 12 or 16 pages. And I think it had a 2 or a 4-page preview of 4 or 5 different books. There really wasn't that much in there, you know, and I was unaware that there was a Survivors Club in there. But first appearance of Survivors Club happens to be in the Vertigo 2015 free preview.
Only a 1-page preview, but making the cover interesting nonetheless. I dig these first appearances, and I want to know what the audience thinks about these first appearances. We ask them every week, but I'm enjoying the comment sections below because there's back and forth. People have all different kind of opinions about this.
And again, thank you so much to CBSI, comicbookinvest.com, and Topher for giving us such a great first list. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. That's the way you geek responsibly.
Ooh, well said, Russ. And by the way, he did that whole Star Wars bit in one take, and that was pretty freaking dope. Enough
said. Thank you so much for watching the video. We are in December and taking enrollment for the December mystery mail call box. And we're gonna round out the year by sending out this Grail, first appearance of X-23 in December. Oh, that's the second appearance. I meant this one. We're gonna send both of them out. We actually are gonna send a ton of really cool comics out. Link in the bio to sign up and join the community.